Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the show. We are here today with our Wellness and Weight Loss Wednesday topic of the week, and the topic is going to be going over the definitive guide to how often you should fast and how long. I'm going to be giving you the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly, and the yearly based plan. So I'm going to share with you who fasting is right for and for how long and how many times to do it throughout the year. I've gotten these questions many times and I've actually answered them sporadically through different podcasts, but today I'm going to be able to refer back to this podcast as the one that is teaching people what natural hygienists and traditional naturopaths have been teaching people throughout the ages. We've talked about it in Ayurvedic medicine. Honestly, every form of medicine except conventional medicine has always had fasting as part of their health-based regimens. Now, it goes for healthy people. It goes for people that are sick. It goes for people that are unwell. It goes for people that are looking to optimize their body. And it's because they always knew that in order, and this is one of the big things that I've talked about before, like if I learned nothing else about my internships overseas. So for those of you who don't know, my internships, I actually decided to do, yes, I did some in the United States, but I decided to actually go to the countries where these forms of natural medicine were developed. So I wanted to study Ayurvedic medicine. Actually, I didn't want to study it. I'd already studied it. I wanted to go in depth. So I went to Sri Lanka and I went to India multiple times and I worked in their clinics. I went to some of their hospitals. I worked directly with the wellness clients and patients in those facilities. And it allowed me to see firsthand really what they were doing, not just in the textbooks, and the results that they were getting. And I was able to do that all over the world, which is pretty phenomenal. I mean, Sri Lanka and India and China and over in Europe and the United States. So very grateful. And I don't plan for that to really ever end. Just last year, I was in Germany for the World Medicine Week, and that's for bioregulatory medicine. And I was able to talk with many of the doctors over there and even see some of the clinics and what they were using for different types of modalities inside of their practices. And it's pretty fantastic. So that's something that I never planned to end. But what I wanted to share with you today is that during those internships and during me studying all sorts of different types of natural medicine and what I now call Integrative Health Practitioner Institute today is where we teach this to anyone who wants to learn, is that every form of natural health has what's called a subtractive method, meaning they understand that the body gets well sometimes when less is done. Now, I know that seems kind of strange, but what happens is the body is oftentimes overwhelmed. Now, what I try to do in my book, The Rain Barrel Effect, was simply teach these principles through analogies, which I believed that anybody could really get and grasp and then be able to teach their children as well. It's like the more stress you have, the more EMFs you're exposed to, the more toxins you're exposed to, the more chlorine that you're exposed to, the more fluoride that you're exposed to, the more all of these things you're exposed to, the less sleep that you get. All of this builds up and it starts to fill up your rain barrel. Now, if you're like me, well, your rain barrel overflowed at 17 years old. Now, it had been building for years. 3 years of straight antibiotics, over 3,000 capsules of amoxicillin swallowed. I was on Prilosec. I wasn't sleeping. I was stressed out about taking my SATs and trying to graduate with all honors in school and like all these type A perfectionist types of things. And my body just broke down. It literally broke down. My immune system started to shut down, and that led to what was an absolute disaster for my health, but it led to where I am now, which is understanding the principles of how the body works. And so I had to empty my rain barrel in order to get well. Well, there's a lot to it. There's no doubt about it. I talk about it in The Rain Barrel Effect, but what I want to share with you is the cornerstone of every single natural health-based modality, it includes some type of fasting. And since we've been doing this now for thousands of years, I can assure you it should be a cornerstone in your life as well. So let's go over exactly how to fast, who it's right for, and how many times of the year to do it. So the first type of fasting is what's called an intermittent fast, okay? So it's not quite a long fast. It's an intermittent break in eating. That's all that it means. Fasting means you're not eating, you're not consuming calories essentially, okay? We'll go over some caveats to that in just a moment, but here's the thing. An intermittent fast, and I probably have about 20 podcasts on intermittent fasting, all different types, and should you skip breakfast, not skip breakfast? If you don't skip breakfast, what time should you have breakfast? So I'll link those up today. You can just go to stevencabral.com/1811, which will be the 4 types of fasts that I talk about here today. All right, so the first one is intermittent fasting. Now, this happens on a daily basis. It's basically when you stop eating at night to when you begin in the morning. Now, if we're looking at the research, and we're also looking at what we have in terms of real world results, we know that most humans, again, I can never give something for 100% of people. Anybody who tells you that is lying to themselves. But I can never give you 100%. But let's say somewhere around 99% of people should be doing a 12-hour or more fast. So it's not as difficult as you would think. In the beginning, I thought it was nearly impossible. Like, oh, this just seems way too much. Especially me back in my natural bodybuilding days. I was like, well, you're telling me that I need to keep eating. I need to keep my muscles fueled, all those different things. Well, here's the thing. Again, 99%. So unless you're hypoglycemic, you have certain medical conditions, maybe you're a bodybuilder, you want to stop eating around 6 p.m. at night, maybe even a little bit earlier if you can. And then it makes it extremely easy to go 12 hours because you're just going until 6 in the morning. So it's not difficult at all. Now, the hard part for a lot of people will be stopping eating 3 to 4 hours before bed, but I can assure you, it is one of the absolute best things that you can do for health and longevity. It really is, because you're going to get better sleep. You're probably going to see your heart rate variability improve. If you don't know what that is, go back to previous podcasts. You will see your deep sleep improve. You'll see your REM sleep improve, your rapid eye movement improve, that type of sleep. So again, I've shows on that. You can go back, you can type in deep sleep, and you'll be able to see all the different shows as well. So here's the thing though. By doing that, by stopping eating 3 to 4 hours before bed, it improves digestion, it improves overall sleep, it's going to improve rejuvenation, it improves detox. Now your body's not working on digestion when it's asleep. If you eat right before bed, now your body has to use energy for digestion. It's most likely going to affect your sleep. It affects blood flow for sure inside of your body because it's going towards your stomach. So again, when you're sleeping, the body is meant to repair and rejuvenate. So let's say now you stop eating by 6 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at the latest, and now you go till 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. So that gives us an easy 12-hour intermittent fast. The question is, should you do longer? Well, it really depends now. Are you someone that gains weight more easily? Are you someone whose fasting glucose level, blood sugar level in the morning is typically higher? Or are you someone that loses weight easier, more of that Vata body type versus Kapha body type, and someone that gets lower blood sugar in the morning? I can assure you, just as many people essentially that get the high blood sugar, there's also low blood sugar. So the question is this. If you have specific goals and you're following, let's say, our Fatlocity protocol or something like that, you're going to wait a few more hours. You're going to do more of a 14 to 16 hour overnight fast. But the fast should not go till lunch. So we break the fast between 8 and 10 in the morning for most people. Now, if you look at it though, it's not too wild, right? So if you do what I do, I typically go from, well, not typically, I go from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. That's 14 hours for me. I have breakfast when I start my day. When I'm about to begin that sympathetic nervous system drive, when my body needs energy for thinking, for mindset, for meetings, for calls. Remember, that's using the sympathetic nervous system as well, work, right? So I give my body fuel, plain and simple. It works great for my body. Some people will go a little bit longer. Some people will start sooner. Back when I was trying to overcome Addison's disease and a lot of the health issues I had, I ate within a half hour essentially of waking up. My body needed that fuel because I was hypoglycemic. So again, there's a time and place for everything. So this is a great way, a great foundation, 12 hours to start. That's on a daily basis. a little bit more for some people. How much is right for you? Well, you'll know with a little bit of experimentation in a little bit of time as well. And again, it can change. So just keep in mind, I could only do 10 to 12 hours before, not even, because I had to eat a little bit something before bed so I wouldn't wake up with accelerated heart rate or due to hypoglycemia, but I was a special case. So, but again, I know that I work with a lot of special cases on this podcast, so that might be you as well. So where you are today doesn't dictate where you'll be 6 months from now as well. All right, so now that was daily. Now what about weekly? Well, weekly would become what's called a true fast. So every week, and I'm going to link up shows in this today. So just again, for everything to keep it simple, go to stephencabral.com/1811. 1811 is today's show. So every week, in an ideal world, you would be doing a 24-hour fast. Now, I know before we get started here, no, a day without eating, that seems like way too much. I get it, and I felt the same way in the beginning. So what I can share with you is this, though, is that it's always hardest the first few times you try it. But why do we want to do this? It's a process called autophagy. And in the next couple of weeks, I'll actually be going through the 5 stages of fasting. But you really need to get to that 18-hour mark or so before you start to get deeper into autophagy. Is it working at all times? Yes, it is. Autophagy even works between meals. So it's not that it isn't working, it is. So what I want you to do is this, though. This is the easiest way I found to go 24 hours. I do it myself on Monday. You can do it any day of the week that you want. Why do I choose to do a 24-hour fast on Monday? So the reason why I do it on Monday is that Monday is a very busy work day for me. I have meetings all day long. That's my meeting day at work. I don't love meetings. My team knows I don't love meetings, but I have an amazing team. We have a mission that we're on, and we need to get together. And it's very important that we do that. And so it's a great thing that we do. So the meetings are amazing. I'm not saying that, but again, I'm literally in meetings from 10 to 4:15, sometimes 4:30. So I get a couple hours work done in the morning. Then I'm on meetings with my integrative health practitioner team, the Cabral Wellness Stephen Cabral team, with the Equal Life team, and we've got a lot to talk about, right? Because we've got a lot of big things that we're trying to do and help people with. Okay, so there's that part right there. But also, I enjoy an epic cheat meal every single weekend. Now, an epic cheat meal, again, I'm already got my body healthy. You don't want to do this if you haven't got your body healthy yet. But let's say it's Saturday night. It will often be a Saturday night. So Saturday night, I might have friends up, I might have family up, or just last weekend, I went out with my family to a restaurant. We don't go out to restaurants too much anymore. I hope that changes soon. But we went out. I had a great flex meal or cheat meal, whatever you want to classify it at. Pasta. What else did I have? I had some bread. It was absolutely delicious. It was fantastic. I even had a drink. I don't even drink that much. So that was that. And then we split a dessert. So again, my daughters were out. We were having a great time. We split dessert, and it was fantastic. So I'm typically doing a cheat meal over the weekend. So Sunday gives me a buffer day to get my blood sugar back normalized. And then Monday, I do the fast. Now, here's one more tip that I want to give you that I think is going to make it a whole lot easier, especially if you have a family. So I have dinner Sunday night. Try to have it earlier, 5:30, 5:30. Now, the fast can begin. So I don't eat then again until 5:30 or so that next day. So I'm still eating dinner with my family every night. That's the nice thing, because if I sit at the dinner table with my family, it's very important to me to have dinner with my family. So I sit at the dinner table with my family, and they're all eating, and they're looking at me like, why aren't you eating? It can be just a little bit odd. Now, I do that during my detox, and I'll talk about that on the next one. But here's the thing. I do it every single week, so I don't want to skip necessarily a meal every week. You can decide to, may not decide to. It's totally up to you, okay? Because you can get in a little bit longer one, and I'll talk about that on a future podcast, the 36-hour fast, which is fantastic. And I think that, again, I'm going to start to implement that a little bit more. I'll talk about it in just a second. But 24-hour fast, really easy. I have dinner with my family Sunday night, and then I just drink water, or I do my 1 scoop of my daily nutritional support at 8 a.m., at lunch, and then mid-afternoon to get in a lot of water as well and nutrients, and then I have dinner that night. Absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to link up the 1-day reset diet for you. It's a great way to do a 24-hour fast, still getting your nutrients, still probably better stabilizing healthy levels of blood sugar and making sure those detox pathways are open, all right? So you have the either way, water fast, herbal teas, or the 1-day reset diet that I love. Okay, so that is weekly. Again, you can do it any day of the week you want. You could do it a Friday, you could do it a Wednesday, whatever works for you. All right. Now, the monthly/quarterly, okay? Some people recommend it monthly. It's a 2 to 3 day fast, okay? So it's basically what we do for our 7-day detox, which is every 12 weeks quarterly. Some people do it monthly. I don't know that I recommend it monthly, and I don't believe that most people, they could do it in their life. And so again, there are a lot of PhDs and there are people out there who are absolutely fantastic and we need all that research. And they're like, well, this is what to do. But it's different when you're a practitioner. So again, worked with over 250,000 people, overseen all those appointments. And I just know it's not realistic. I know it's not realistic. So what we do is we do it quarterly. And that's what Ayurveda says as well. Every season, you do a 2 to 3 day fast. Okay, here's how we do it. And literally, you can go to equi.life/detox, equi.life/detox. You can see the whole plan. You don't need to purchase anything. You can actually see the plan. We give you basically everything we do. You can do it along with us every 12 weeks, or you can choose to do your own. It's completely up to you. But I want you to know how to do it, and it's much easier than you think. And I've been doing this now for a decade. I honestly believe this is the game changer because you need to get yourself into a longer state of fasting for autophagy to take place at a much more rapid rate. Again, I'll explain that in a future podcast coming in just a week or two, so stay tuned. So here's what you want to think about. When your body is without food for a longer period of time, it begins to break down necrotic tissue, diseased cells at a faster rate. It can actually use them as a source of fuel. Plus, when no food is coming in, it does not have to attack any of the foods you might be sensitive to, et cetera, et cetera. So the immune system is supercharged, okay? Also, when you start to improve a hormone called ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and you're not eating, you actually start to boost growth hormone. So all of these things are helping to repair, rejuvenate the body, not allow it to burn muscle, and at the same time burn body fat. It's absolutely fantastic. Again, I am at the set weight that I want to be at. It feels good for my body, but I still do this detox. Even if I lose a couple pounds, I can just put it back on after the detox. So that is I do a 7-day functional medicine detox every quarter. Thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people do it with us every single 12 weeks. Every January, beginning of April, beginning of July, and then mid-September. You can do yours whenever you want. It does not have to fall within those exact months. You can do it whenever you choose to. Like, that's the truth. Most people do it before they start a health-based protocol or before they even start Fatlocity as well. So totally up to you. Do what you feel is best, but 2 to 3 days of what would be considered a liquid fast, okay? So you're doing the daily nutritional support shake, 1 scoop, 4 times a day. You can water fast if you choose to. You can do herbal teas. That's honestly up to you. Coffee is still acceptable, but no calories in it. It can be black. Tea is acceptable, no calories in it, just straight green tea if you'd like, or black tea. And what else can I share with you there? And then even sometimes, again, I'm not a proponent of this, but you could even do a little bit of vegetable juice should you choose to. There can't be any fruit in it whatsoever. It has to be low glycemic. We're talking some celery. We're talking maybe some cucumber, some leafy greens, which are low glycemic, just a little bit. You could choose to do that if you chose to as well. But it has to be liquid. No real calories, and I can't recommend enough a functional medicine detox because you want to get in the nutrients. Once you start going over 24 hours, really, your liver is going to be detoxing at a faster rate, and if you don't want to create oxidative stress, you need to give it that sulforaphane, the N-acetylcysteine, the taurine. You need to give it those sulfur-based amino acids. I can't stress that enough. I will link up below how to do a functional medicine detox. If you've never heard about it before, I'll link up that, and I'll also link up the detox course, completely free. All right, actually, I have to give you one more tip, and I'm glad I actually made a note on this. I don't make a note on a lot of podcasts. This is important. After you've done a 2 to 3 day fast, you need to make sure you carefully break that fast. Not as important if you do a week long, but very important still with 2 to 3 days. You want to have a smoothie or a little bit of low glycemic fruit, or you want to have an easy to digest, like vegetarian-based meal. Nothing heavy, like no steak or anything like that. Here's why. Your digestive system has been quiet. It has been resting for 2 to 3 days. You need to wake it back up gently. It's the difference between waking up through natural means of the sunlight in the morning, or an air raid siren alarm going off and you just jump out of bed. That's jolting and startling for the body, okay? So ease back into digestion. Break it with a simple meal, something very simple, okay? Now, the last type of fast is a yearly fast. This is where some people choose to do a 5 to 7 day long water fast, or they might use their DNS shake, something like that, okay? This is getting a little bit more, I don't think that extreme is the right word, okay? Because it's been used for many, many years. Dr. Herbert Shelton, who I've spoken about many times before, one of the original traditional naturopaths, called natural hygienists back then, used to water fast people. Now, here's the issue though, and it's why I don't even recommend 2-3 days necessarily without nutrients. It's that back in the day, Herbert Shelton and all the clients that he was working with, over 35,000 that he fasted, they weren't being exposed to all of the 77,000+ man-made chemicals we have today. So when their fat cells and all that adipose tissue was basically breaking down, they weren't spilling all sorts of previous pharmaceuticals and heavy metals and environmental estrogens and all those things back into their bloodstream, which is then being filtered by the liver. They didn't have that, right? So it's very different. Same with Ayurveda. So that is why I recommend those phase 1 and phase 2 detox nutrients. So important. Okay. So if you're doing a 5 and 7 day, I still really recommend those, the AYU and FM detox capsules, as well as the daily nutritional support shakes. I can't recommend it enough. Okay. I've done a week-long water fast before. This is going back 11 years. I'll talk about that on another show. I believe it was too harsh for my body. I really do. I believe that it took months for me to recover from that, although I do believe that I did get a lot of benefit from it. So I'm not going to say I didn't. I lost a lot of muscle in my legs that really never came back. I lost almost 14 pounds in 7 days. I actually broke the fast on the 7th day, so I didn't get a full 7th. My body was telling me now's the time, so I listened to my body. And again, if you're doing something that long and you have health-based conditions, you probably want to be under medical supervision. So let me give you an easier way, though, that a lot of people in our community do it, and that I feel comfortable recommending to most people. And that's a 21-day functional medicine detox. You might say, well, you just went from 7 days to 21, but here's the difference. You're only fasting for the first 2 days out of every one of those weeks for 3 weeks. So you're getting 6 days, but you're getting them over 3 weeks, okay? I've seen it be far more gentle on the body and also pretty much just as effective. I mean, it really can be very, very effective. So that's what we do. Again, once a year, 21-day detox, especially for anybody that needs to lose weight, anybody that's dealing with a specific health condition, anyone that's really looking to rebalance the body. If not, you can kind of stick with those 7 days every 12 weeks. That's what I do for the most part. But I have many people in my practice that do a 21-day functional medicine detox every year. And the easiest way to do that is simply complete the 7-day detox, which is the liquid fasting for the first 2 days. And then you're eating lunch and dinner for all the other days, and you're doing a shake in the morning, a shake in the afternoon. So it's really not challenging, and it's not too different from probably how you're living now, but you're getting those accumulated benefits over those 3 weeks. Now, if you're someone that doesn't want to do the fasting each of those weeks, you could even do 1 day if you chose to for the full 21 days, and you'd get 3 days out of it. Not as great, but still really fantastic. And again, like, you're still getting a ton of benefit from it. So I wanted to provide you today with really the definitive guide from how people have been using fasting in natural-based health for thousands of years. And I believe that if you follow the daily 12 to 16 hours, the weekly 24 hours, the monthly or quarterly 2 to 3 days, which is 48 to 72 hours, and the yearly 21-day functional medicine detox, or maybe even a 5 to 7 day fast, that you can get tremendous benefit from it. Again, if you're dealing with any specific medical conditions, always talk with your doctor or a qualified healthcare practitioner. And of course, if this podcast was helpful, if this show was helpful, please do feel free to share this information with anyone you believe it could serve. And again, all of the notes and all of the follow-up material will be at stevencabral.com/1811. And for the specific functional medicine detox that we use in our practice, you can go to equa.life/detox. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. And today, as always, at the end of the show, I try to share with you what we have going on for our listeners, for our community, and you won't want to miss this one. Right now, going on over at Equilife, you can get a free bottle, more than a 30-day supply, typically a couple months supply of our liquid vitamin D3. This is a favorite of the community. It is one of the products used in our immunity protocol, and it is something that we try to offer every single January every year for about 4 years running now. And that is because vitamin D helps with your wellness-based goals. It helps with your immunity. It helps with your weight loss goals. It helps with anti-aging. Vitamin D is one of those nutrients that your body needs on a daily basis, and also something that works with over 300 different processes within the body. So it's very important that if you're not maintaining a tan on a weekly basis, that you most likely need to supplement with vitamin D3. The average dosage for adults is about 35 IUs per pound of body weight. Same with children. I use 4 drops per day. So does my wife. That's in addition to the daily nutritional support. And both of my daughters, who are now over 35 pounds, they use 1 drop per day. So it's simple to take. Honestly, it's not a dropper. It's just 1 drop. You can put it under your tongue when you're having a meal or with a smoothie. It's super easy to use. I do mine typically right at breakfast, just 4 drops under my tongue, and I can just have my smoothie with it, and I'm good to go. So right now, it is yours completely free, especially this time of the year. It's absolutely needed. So you can head on over to equa.life, pick up anything that you desire over there, whether it be a lab, daily foundational protocol, whatever you need. Any purchase over $99 gets this free bottle of liquid vitamin D. Same product I've been using in my practice now for about a decade, and it's one that I can't recommend enough. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the special promotion. Head on over to equa.life right now for details.